Welcome back to the second edition of our very special AI podcast, how to improve your accent using AI, the tools of today. And we're here to give you quick tutorials once a week. I'm Bianca, I'm your accent coach, and this is William. William, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, hello. I am a learning enthusiast. And recently I have been digging down with artificial intelligence. Yeah, sorry, I was hearing myself.
Ah,
Yeah.
no more echo. Now you're good.
Yeah, the number echo. Yeah. And we want to share how you can improve the language learning experience using artificial intelligence. It's easier than ever.
And we could say learning how to do that incrementally because we're here once a week, real quick.
Exactly.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
the thing I want you guys to remember, we're only here for 15 minutes. It's a quick tip. And of course you can watch the replay. But the other thing is the reason we're going live now is that so that you can come after this to our free office hours. So we're always available Wednesdays just after this at the top of the hour in about a half an hour from now for free office hours. So you can ask this, you can ask other accent questions, and that link is down in the description. It's in our Discord. So that's why we go live now, but of course we'll always watch the replay. So what are we learning today, William? What are we going to talk about? And let's recap what we did last week.
Yeah, precisely, because today we will have a follow up of the first session we did. Is we asked Perplexity.AI, that is one large language model, that you can ask any question to that artificial intelligence. And we asked, what Spanish speakers struggle the most when speaking English? And it had some of minimal pairs and so on. And then we explicitly asked for minimal pairs, and we had like a list, like ship and sheep, bit and beat, this kind of thing. But it's okay, that's good enough because there are words in isolation. So it's a good practice. But what happens that this doesn't transfer to the natural language because we speak sentences, we don't speak words here and there. So that's what we will do today. Ask Perplexity a follow-up question. So now that I have a list or some idea that I can practice with minimal pairs, make some sentences. So something that makes sense
Yeah.
and pronounce this out loud. And then even next level, we'll make a short story. So because every sentence will be standalone with no connection, and a story, it's everything makes sense. And you are just practicing the sounds that include the clusters or the combinations that Spanish speakers will struggle the most.
Perfect. So that's where we come from. That's where we're going. I'm going to just share now the screen so that people can see kind of where we're at. So this is what you were just talking about. We asked last week, this is last week review, we asked for a list of minimal pairs in English, specifically that native speakers of Spanish would struggle with the most. So it gave us a list. Now what? What would another next step be? What can I do with this information?
So remember that we had a link because we can share this. So I recovered this from the link. You may notice that I still have the sources, but I don't have the candidates of the follow-up questions in this case because I used the link. Anyhow, I can just use it. So now I have all of these list.
Can I interrupt you for a second? So if somebody's
Sure.
saying, what list? Where did you get this list? In fact, last week, there was a link, right? We end up with a link when we're done with this, and we can share that link. So that link should already be in the description of last week's video, and we'll also put it in the description of this week's video. So you can see exactly where we started. You don't have to start from zero.
Yep. So then what I will do is in Perplexity, just behind your face on the screen it says new thread. Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, nice skills.
New thread.
Yeah. And in this case, I will ask make short sentences that use minimal pairs for vowels. So, and I provide examples. And those examples are were provided by the artificial intelligence already. So such
So
as
you just
sheep.
copied and pasted that part, right? You said now you're saying use short
Yeah.
sentences, and I'm actually going to move a couple of other things out of the way so we can
Yes,
see your
because we are
prompt.
in different. I'm in different sessions and even browsers in this case. But you will see today that once we have this question and the thread we will create, we can just follow up any question, and this is a conversation. So I don't have to repeat explicitly as if nothing had happened.
As if you're starting over from zero, right?
Uh, yeah.
And I think that's the key point that a lot of people. I think we can reiterate it 1,000 times because it's really important. It's a conversation, so this AI, it's remembering what you said before, so you can make references to say, "Oh, that," or "it," right? And you can just keep that conversation going. So I think it's worth repeating there. So now that we saw the prompt, I'm going to move you back down here so we can see you. And then what are
And
we seeing
now,
now?
and now I have a list of sentences that make sense. For instance, I have the ship sailed across the sea, and the sheep grazed into the field. So I have the middle pairs, ship and sheep,
Yes.
but instead of having those in isolations, I have example sentences that are short, and a sheep, the animal,
Yep.
grazed into the field. So the sentence makes sense. It's not some random concatenation of words that doesn't make sense.
It's
It is
contextualized now. So
precisely that. That's the key word. Contextualize.
yes, it's in a contextualized sentence. It's not quite a tongue twister yet, but it's in a sentence that makes sense. It's more memorable that way. Like you said earlier, it's not just a list of
Uh,
words. And also, what I think is important here, it's a good step because the words are not right next to each other. Right, so it's a lot easier cognitively to go step by step. And what's the next thing we can see? Bit and beat.
yep. Which are the examples I provided explicitly in my prompt. And you will see that then there's a third that I didn't explicitly ask because I just sent the prompt with some examples. So it's not limited to just the two I provided.
And
So
I
we
think
have
that's,
hit.
sorry, I want to
Yeah,
clarify. I think that's because in your prompt you wrote such as, right? And that's why you're
yeah,
getting more
to
than
provide.
you asked for.
Yeah, because I want since we are out of context, it's not a conversation we started. I started from scratch. I wanted to be more explicit. That's why I also added the quotation marks between the keywords, just in case. This is called prompt engineering. So
It's
you
exactly what I wanted to
can,
say. Yes, your prompt
yeah,
engineering, and I want to point that out to people too as we go because they might not see these little things unless we say them. So we're going to try to help with prompt engineering as well. Thank you. So what else?
well, then I have more examples, and there's one option that says view detailed. By default, the output, it is condensed because you want to go straight to the point of what you wanted and not to read an entire essay, right? But in this case, let's say I actually want more detail. So I can just click on view detail. And oh my God, in this case, it's quite, it's not the best example.
It's more extensive, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's more extensive, but what happens that all of those are questions and it's one word or the other word with an or at the in the
Yep.
middle.
Yep.
Not the best case. I can adjust and do this, view concise,
Oh, nice, nice.
and I go back to where I was. And on top of that, you can you can see here the sources. This is taken from one YouTube video, English at Home, uh, even Quizlet.
Yeah, yeah.
So perhaps those were some a deck with some flashcards in Quizlet. Happens. I'm pretty well. We can actually
You can
check
see.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, precisely that. So Let me
Somebody
see.
created it. It was out there, and that's why the AI went and got it.
Yeah.
You can go
So here
directly to
what
that.
we have 100 and something flashcards, and perhaps it's about phonetics, I think. And perhaps one of those will have those sentences, but instead of going through all the deck just of one, the flashcards I want or the sentence I want, the AI does this for me.
Yeah, I don't have to go to YouTube and English at Home and Goals English, and I don't have to create this. That's what the AI does for me. It goes through all those things. It does all that work for me. Gotcha. Excellent. Excellent.
And then next level. So let's say when you practice enough that this is easy enough to have minimal pairs in different sentences, perhaps you want a combination of anything put together in a text. And in this case, so I will ask, write a short story, use minimal pairs for vowels such as sheep and sheep, or bit and beat, as we said before,
Yep.
as often as possible without sacrificing naturality.
Ooh, what? Why did you add that little bit at the end without sacrificing naturality? It wouldn't occur to
Yeah.
me to add that.
Oh, again, that's from engineering. That's because I already tried a lot of things myself. What happens that, yes, for the sake of boosting of the frequency of the words, it becomes too unnatural. That yes, grammatically is correct,
Ah.
but it doesn't. It makes sense, but no one will say this sentence. It's too forced.
Okay. So you've learned that through experience, right? That's what you're
Yeah,
saying.
that's why
Like
I'm
I've.
sharing this. So
Uh
I'm
huh.
saving your time if you want to replicate this.
Woohoo! And that's why
And
we're here
once
to
upon
give
a
these
time,
tips.
there was a little girl named Liz, who lived on a farm with her family. Ta ta ta. One day, ta ta. So what happened? You can check that later in detail. Is if it is using pairs or not, or just random. I actually ran one. I did one mock example before,
Yeah.
and I checked and I proofread, and yes, there were a lot of minimal pairs.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
Not
So they're in
not
there
as
already.
yeah, not as condensed because I said without sacrificing naturality, and we can for instance, we can also take this out as many as soon as possible. Sorry, as often as possible,
Yep, yep.
and let's see the difference.
Mm.
Once upon a time, it starts the same,
Yeah.
but there was a little chick
Chick?
named Pip.
Who uses the word chick? Uh huh. Uh huh. I mean, it's there, but
Pip was, for instance, we have bit,
yes.
and perhaps it will appear bead later on.
Right.
In this case, is good enough.
It's not terrible. Yeah. Pecking is
Yes.
not a very common word. It looks like you've got a ship sailing in the distance. She kept singing and
Yeah.
practicing.
For
It's not
instance,
quite as
here,
good.
yeah, as we have seen before, sheep,
Yep.
and
The
so
next line
on.
is ship.
Yeah, it's quite good. So, based on my experience, I used ChatGPT, not Perplexity, and it was what he said. It was not usable. So, so with what happens with artificial intelligence,
Yeah.
that it's not perfect,
Yeah.
but just some follow-up questions, and you will get more or less what you want.
That's the
Which,
thing. Yeah.
at any rate, it will be much quicker than if you have to Google. For instance, there was a YouTube video. So, where in the video is this sentence I want to see it for, or I go through all of those websites and scan myself, and assuming those websites are found in the first Google page.
Right, even that. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's saving a huge amount of time. And like we said, there's some extra tricks that you can do. Can you scroll up a little bit the phrase that you used without sacrificing? You can add that and it's going to be better, but can you scroll down now? If
yeah,
you just do the basic, right? Hey, write me a story. Here's what I want it to have. And here's the frequency as often as possible, right? The more direction you can already give it, the better your results are going to be, and you don't have to go through sifting all that other stuff to do your own practice. So this is a quick way where you can take what you've already done, which is get minimal pairs, and then you can go and number one, make sentences. And then number two, write them in a short story. And I bet you could even maybe reverse engineer, write a short story, and then have it tease out the sentences too if you wanted to parse it out as
Oh,
well.
nice idea. Yes, that is possible. We can do this next time.
Yes. So speaking of next time, what are we going to do next time? Did you remember?
Yeah, there are a lot of things. We
I can
can
tell you.
do the other way around
Uh
with
huh.
this.
Uh huh.
Or, for instance, since here we have a YouTube video,
Yes,
it will
that's what
be
I was going to
nice,
say.
it's possible to do that. Let's say I'm generally watching a YouTube video, is, oh, this sounds weird. I will have not pronounced this way. Perhaps it's me that I'm wrong. So I can quickly check this within YouTube. So I don't
Yes.
have to go to this website or another website, copy and paste, get or consult a dictionary. And no, 2 clicks within YouTube, and I get the answer right away.
Perfect. So to clarify, next week we're going to talk about how to use LLMs or large language models while we're inside of YouTube. In the video, you can get a summary, you can get quick definitions, you can do anything with whatever's already in the captions, right? So completely different than making lists and stories and things like that. So,
Yep.
so that's next week. What about in like 15 minutes? What are we going to be doing? Where are we going to be?
Office hours.
Woohoo! Office hours. Yes, office hours. I would say that deserves a round of applause. So thank you. Office hours every Wednesday, right at the top of the hour. So first we're here, we give a little break, and then we go over there. Where can people find us on office hours?
Yeah, and ask anything related to language, pronunciation, accent.
Could be AI stuff, could be, yeah, could be
Yeah,
schwa. I heard this name schwa. What's that about? But where are we going to be? We're not going to be live on YouTube. Our favorite place is
Discord. And I'm pretty sure the link will be below here. Yeah.
definitely already there,
Okay.
already there.
And if you're not familiar with Discord, there's some tutorials made by you.
Just a quick little 5 minute
Yep.
tutorial. Yeah, if you don't know Discord, if you're new to it and you're like, big scary app, then there's a little tutorial link down below. There's also the join link. And where we meet is called at the Accent Lounge. So you'll see on the left-hand side, there's a little button you click, Accent Lounge. There you are. It's very much like a Zoom class, what you're used to, right? So it's that group experience. So we're gonna
Well,
say goodbye for now. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
it's this, and a lot more.
And more, and more. Yeah, I mean the experience of like, look, it's a video thing too. People don't know that maybe. So when you go there, it's a whole like a class thing. It's a group video thing, like you would for Teams or whatever it is you use. So we're gonna say bye for now. We'll say see you next week to talk a little bit more about how to use AI with YouTube for your language and your accent learning. And we'll say see you in a couple minutes over on Discord, right?
Yep.
All right.